Well, good good evening everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it is Monday night and it's time for another coffee stream. I'm kind of sad, however, because I wanted to start the stream with a glass of wine already poured, but I got the foil off my wine, but I can't remember how my stupid corkscrew works. So I couldn't get my wine open. Sad press. Sad wine press. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good day, that you had a good weekend, that you had a good Christmas. Of course, I told you guys on Saturday noontime how spoiled the boys got in the morning. They continued to get spoiled. We got some really cool walkie talkies that we can use when we go to the cottage, so that'll be awesome. And apparently, my grandfather called today, and there's apparently more presents that we didn't even know we had. So Pinkala is gonna go pick those up at some point this week. So yeah, and they got a crap ton of gift, like money, gift cards and stuff like that. It was crazy. They got a lot of stuff, and they've bought a lot of stuff with their money, and they still have money left over. And yeah, I think they had a good Christmas. And of course, I've been posting air fryer videos already, so I'm super excited about that. And it's been a good it's been a good Christmas, I think. And the most important part of it all was that we actually got to see, like, we got to see each other. Like, I got to see my grandma, the kids got to see their cousin, they got to see grandma. It was it was a lot. It was so much better than last Christmas, because I know everybody missed each other last Christmas. So it was a great time. I'm glad we got together, and yeah, it was great. So this is my little corkscrew that I have. And I knew how to use it when I got it, but I haven't had wine that requires a corkscrew in like a year. So I don't remember how to use it. And I can't get my wine open. Hello, Elwin. Glad you're here. So, we have a fair amount of news to go through today. Some of it sad, some of it not so sad. So let's get right to it, shall we? I actually have the first story open, so that's good. So let's get this shared. I once opened wine with a knife. I do not recommend that, says Elwin. No. That sounds like a horrifying endeavor, to open wine with a knife. Oh my. That that just sounds both um frustrating and horrifying at the same time. Are you gonna paywall me? Or is this the stupid Toronto Sun ad again? Where are we here? Pro boxer murdered in front of his kids in suspected road rage incident. The fighter's girlfriend and 3 kids were unharmed. God damn. So this is the Brad Hunter columnist. That Mindhunter columnist from the Toronto Sun. That's who this article is bylined by. Let's see. Miho! Hello, Miho. All right, let's see here. A Maryland heavyweight boxer was gunned down in front of his 3 children on Christmas Eve in what cops suspect was a road rage shooting. Man, road rage is so frustrating and so unnecessary. Like, even in minor road rage, like, when I'm listening to it, it's just like, dude, it's not. Just stop. Just stop. It's not gonna do any good. Quote, at this time, detectives are looking into whether this was possibly a road rage. Constable Prince George's County Police Department said in a statement. Officers found Kelly unconscious in the driver's seat. He had been shot multiple times and died in hospital. That's really, really, really sad. And on Christmas Eve of all times. Pro boxer, eh? Couldn't have been that good. Oh, damn, Ryan. Costin, hello. What can we blame on Pincalo today? Well, certainly not the fact that I don't know how my corkscrew works, because he was trying to tell me earlier and my know-it-all mouth was like, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, now I don't know how to open my wine. And had I shut my face, I would know how to open my wine. Okay. So the fighter's girlfriend and children were unharmed in the incident, and this is a heartbreaking, blah blah blah. Apparently, police are offering $25,000 for the reward. That's a big price tag. Big price tag. All right. Let's move along from the sadness. All right. I grabbed a whole bunch of stuff yesterday after I recorded my coffee shot. Pincalo, honey, I really need some water. I don't know if he heard me. Let's see here. So yeah, I have a bunch of articles that I got Come on, computer, go faster. Blind press. Where's my thing with blind? There's blind press. DM with myself. There we go. Hello, Lord Famine. The wine's on my, Yeah, have him get the wine while he's there. Let me text him. I don't think he's watching the stream. Can you please bring me some water? I am losing my voice. Okay. Oops, I said, can you please bring me time water instead of some water? Good thing I didn't spell time like the spice, because that would be really gross. Time water would be really nasty. Okay, let's find the story that I would like to start with. Oh, yes, I found this last night. Here we go. Did you load? Yes, you did. Okay, let's share the screen now. Okay. Oh, come on. I thought you loaded properly. All right. And I even remembered to put it on the full screen because that way, somebody mentioned it was easier to see the screen that way. Okay.
Isn't there water in your wine?
No, and I can't open it.
Ah.
I need help with that too. So, Desmond Tutu has died. Oh, it'll. We're gonna open it in just a moment there, Miho. Don't worry. I even have my wine glass right here. I don't know how I can't remember how that stupid corkscrew works.
You push the button.
The button? Which button?
The button.
I could see the foil piercer. Let's see here. Hey, I heard a pop.
Weirdo. Yeah, and then to put it back on, you just twist backwards.
Ah. Or I could put on my...
Your little... devil on your shoulder.
My devil on my shoulder, yeah.
There you go. Have a drink. Have a swig. Drink it like a pirate.
I'm not going to drink out of this like a freaking pirate.
Just do it once. You must do it once.
No.
Yeah, you pussy.
Is that bigger than the other bottle?
No.
It looks bigger.
No. What do you think, folks? That should be enough, huh? Yeah? We're good. There you are.
Thank you.
Let it breathe before you drink. Disgusting fucking drink. French wine. The French are to blame for all the problems in the world.
Oh, shush.
Oh, buddy.
Meow. I don't want to leave. Meow.
In case you're all wondering, no, he did not. He did. It's like patting your dog.
Just go straw in the bottle like it's a Mad Dog 2020.
I've done that. I've done it.
Oh, Duck Dog. Oh, Duck Dog, you silly, silly little person. Okay. Desmond Tutu, South African equality activist and Nobel Peace Prize winner, dead at 90. So I saw this last night while I was perusing my my top stories, and of course, I figured I would grab this because it is something that we should talk about. Desmond Tutu, South Africa's Nobel Peace Prize winning activist for racial justice and LGBT rights and retired Anglican Archbishop of Cape Town, has died. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced Sunday he was 90. An uncompromising foe of apartheid, South African brutal regime of oppression against the black majority, Tutu worked tirelessly, though not violently, for its downfall. I vote Pirate Swig. Hey, if y'all want me to start drinking pirate style out of this bottle, you're gonna have to. If you want me to start foregoing the glass, that there's blindpress.net. Although Lord Famine is a patron, so we'll give Lord Famine a pirate swig. That's actually not bad. And I just shoved my wine devil into it. Yeehaw, says Lord Famine. The buoyant, blunt-spoken clergyman used his pulpit as the first black bishop of Johannesburg and later Archbishop of Cape Town, as well as frequent public demonstrations to galvanize public opinion against racial inequity both at home and globally. Tutu's death on Sunday, quote, is another chapter of bereavement in our nation's farewell to a generation of outstanding South Africans who have bequeathed us a liberated South Africa, Ramaphosa said in a statement. I don't know if it's quite fully liberated yet. You seem to be kind of going the other way. Miho's got the party emojis going on in the chat. This is actually a really nice wine. From the pavements of resistance in South Africa to the pulpits of the world's great cathedrals and places of worship, and the prestigious setting of the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony, the Archbishop distinguished himself as a non-sectarian, inclusive champion, inclusive champion of universal human rights. So, I figured that we would kind of mention Desmond Tutu, because him and Nelson Mandela, they was kind of one of those those people that we need to to talk about and remember. I think so, Costin. I think so. Tutu died peacefully at the Oasis Frail Care Center in Cape Town, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu Trust said in a statement on Sunday. It says Tutu had been hospitalized several times since 2015 after being diagnosed with prostate cancer in 1997. Oh, wow. That's a good, strong man. Diagnosed with prostate cancer in 97. Wow. Rest in peace, sir. Rest in peace. You're no longer in pain. You're at rest now. And your work is done. Okay. Let's take a look at some other things here. So I have another story here. We're gonna shift tacks. So we're gonna read an article that mentions a prominent climatologist. Apparently he says Canada is trying to tell us something climatologically. So we're going to read about what he has to say in just a moment. As soon as I get this I almost said as soon as I get this hiccup shared. What I meant to say is this screen shared. And I haven't even had half of my glass of wine, and I can already not speak. I swear this wine is not like any stronger than any normal wine. I don't know why I'm stumbling over my words already, but all right. Such is life, apparently. Okay. So, here we go. So this says, and this is from City News, I believe is where I got this. Where are we here? So this is written by the Canadian Press and published by City News, is what it was. That's what this was. Okay. Trying to tell us something. Climatologist says 2021 a weather year like no other. Well, yeah. This is far from a proven theory, but Pincalo and I were doing some talking the other day, and just out of curiosity, Pincalo looked up how many volcanoes have erupted this year. Just this year alone. And it was something like 70, like 71 or something like that. And they were not all little volcanoes. Like there were some fairly large ones. And we're sitting there going, well, no wonder the weather's all fucked up. Like there's volcanoes going off everywhere. What you so it says this year was beyond belief. There's no year in the 26 years that could compare to this year, says Environment Canada climatologist. So yeah, apparently this guy is flabbergasted with the amount of crazy weather we're having. And it has been pretty crazy this year. We've had heat waves, hot enough to set whole cities on fire and boil sea creatures in the ocean. We've had ridiculous forest fires. We've had insane mudslides. And now we're having a ridiculous cold snap, including places that don't usually see cold snaps, like Vancouver Island. It's very strange. Well, I did ask Pincalo for the wine, so I think it might be my fault. When Dave Phillips, Environment Canada's senior climatologist, began 26 years ago compiling his annual list of the country's top 10 weather events, he sometimes had to stretch a bit. Well, yeah, Canada's not exactly meteorologically extreme. You know, yeah, we have winter stuff, and some parts of our country do experience tornadoes, but compared to like hurricane areas, typhoon areas, even areas like there are areas that see like parts of Russia. Meanwhile, in our area, the weather is quite mild and has been for years. Right? It's been weird here. Like I remember as a kid, and even as a teenager, there were winters where, for at least a couple of weeks, we had minus 30s. Um, and I remember as a kid having several snow days per school year. Um, and I mean like real snow days with so much snow that nobody could go anywhere, even the parents that needed to work. So it's just very weird. Quote, one of the big stories was, hey, it was a good recreational season. Skiers loved it, he recalls. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being a recurring theme in your top 10 weather events in Canada. Searching for weather events was not a problem in 2021. No, I would expect not. And it would be interesting to develop a pattern of where the weather events happened in Canada, or to see if they were all sporadically dispersed across the country. And I bet you he's going to do that. Growing up, I remember walking over chain link fences. The snow was so hot. Yes! Yes! I remember that too, Costin. Quote, this year was beyond belief. There's no year in the 26 years that could compare to this year. There are no happy visions of snow-covered slopes on the 2021 list. Just death, destruction, and drought. Consider late June's heat dome in Western Canada, the top pick by Phillips for the year. The record temperature of nearly 50 Celsius. 50 Celsius. That's halfway to boiling. Okay? That is halfway to boiling water. At Lytton, British Columbia, was well publicized, as was the village's destruction in an ensuing wildfire. But Lytton was only one of 6 communities that surpassed Canada's previous all-time high temperature that day. That's crazy. 25 years ago, I was told off by the Montreal Gendarmerie for riding my snowmobile in the street, says Duck Dog. That was impassable for cars. That sounds like Montreal to me, yep. Sadly, I never had snow days as a child. Regardless of snow, I had to walk. Yeah, the country school boards were a little bit more tough on the kids. Local records melted like popsicles. About 1,000 new daily temperature marks were set between June 24th to July 4th. Heat was a factor in 600 deaths in Vancouver and in another 185 in Alberta. More than 650,000 farm animals perished, despite desperate measures such as chicken farmers spraying their barns with water. Wow. Floods. September gave a sinister new cast to the old jibe of calling BC the, quote, wet coast for the second-ranked weather event of 2021. Yeah. We actually do call BC the wet coast. Some places got 30 centimeters of rain. Usually we measure that in millimeters, guys. Okay? Usually in Canada. So you guys measure your inches, your snow and your rain in inches. In Canada, we tend to measure our rainfall in millimeters and our snowfall in centimeters. They're measuring the rainfall in centimeters. All right? Now, for Americans, there are 10 millimeters to 1 centimeter and about 2.5 centimeters to 1 inch. Okay? So, about 25 millimeters to an inch. Okay? They're measuring rainfall in centimeters. That's insane. Just insane. 30 centimeters is a foot. Yeah. 30 centimeters is 12 inches and 300 millimeters. 3 days, 40 daily rainfall records fell with totals experienced only once every 100 years. Wow. Saturated mountainsides collapsed. Collapsed the Fraser Valley. Flooded, allowing several towns and cities and major highways washed away like sand castles. Yeah, there were TikToks of people trying to escape the like the flooding and the roads. There were TikToks of people trying to rescue like horses and cows and stuff like that that were just trapped. Like it was insane. The amount of water that fell. More than 14,000 people were evacuated, including the entire population of Mer. 4 people died and 1 was missing. BC wasn't the only province afflicted. Much of the prairies suffered from another drought year that historically compared to the dirty 30s. Oh wow. Edmonton had its second driest winter in 136 years, while Calgary's spring rain was less than half of normal. Southern Manitoba was Canada's drought epicenter, where places like Winnipeg had their 2 driest back-to-back years in more than a century. Jesus Christ. So we've got dry winters, like no snow falling. We've got fire from heat. We've got flooding from rain. We've got just basically climatological bipolar disorder is what we have going on right now in Canada. Both wheat and canola production were down by a third. Hay crops were as little as 10% of normal. Holy Christ. Heat plus drought also equals wildfires across the country. BC saw almost 60 towns, or 60 times more forest burned this year than in 2020. And the third most area the smoke spread to, Alberta, where Calgary recorded 512 hours of smoke and haze, more than 40 times the average, and enough to cancel chuck wagon races and the Stampede. Jesus, wow. This is what I mean. When people say, "Oh, it's global warming, it's global warming." Well, look, the earth is doing more than just warming, and this is proving it. The weather is going insane. It's just Ontario called 2021 its worst fire season on record, with 50% more fires than the 10-year average, and 5 times the area burned. More than 3,000 people were evacuated from First Nations communities. Jesus. The list goes on. Tornadoes powerful enough to push homes off their foundations. Not trailers, okay? But actual homes. I heard there was a miner that made a road to get people out with some of the biggest road legal mining equipment there was. Yep, you're right, Doc Dog. That's absolutely right. So tornadoes, powerful enough to push homes off their foundations, whipped repeatedly through Ontario and Quebec. One of them killed a man, and in Musquesh case, which saw winds up to 200 kilometers an hour. That's almost hurricane speed. This is nuts. This is absolutely crazy. In February, an Arctic blast turned the prairies gelid. Gelid? Interesting. I've never heard that. GELID. I've never heard that, read that word before. Yeah, I've never seen that word before. That's an interesting word. Where are we? So yeah, in February, an Arctic blast turned the prairies gelid with record temperatures. And on February 13th, on Winnipeg, negative 38.8 degrees Celsius was colder than the summit of Mount Everest. In Edmonton, pucks at outdoor hockey games shattered when they hit goalposts. Pucks that are supposed to be able to withstand cold because hockey is an ice game. Okay? Rubber that is supposed to be able to withstand being cold and is specifically hard got cold enough to shatter. That's insane. Absolutely insane. Newfoundland battened down for Hurricane Larry, which hit September 11th with winds gusting up to 180 kilometers an hour. Larry poured rain, toppled trees from roofs, flung roofs, and knocked out power to 60,000 people. In all, 2021 was enough to leave a normally eloquent climatologist grasping for superlatives. I can imagine. Quote, "It just is mind-boggling," said Phillips. This year shows how climate change can exaggerate and extenuate the normal extremes of Canadian weather into dangerous and destructive events, he said. I like how he's saying climate change and not global warming. Because the climate is changing. And, the climate has been changing and cycling for billions of years. So I like that this guy is saying climate change and not global warming. You know what I mean? Quote, "What I'm hopeful for is that it becomes the turning point and confirmation for the majority of Canadians that this clear and present danger to climate change and extreme weather," he said. Quote, "This year has really woken people up to that fact." Yes, but getting rid of single-use plastic straws isn't going to make the weather better. I'm sorry. Well then, hello, Ghost Dog. If it shatters in the gold, does it count as a gold line press? I don't know. I'm not sure, Ghost Dog. I don't think so. Unfortunately. It should. Yes, I am pouring by the neck. Ugh, sue me, I don't care. I think I actually learned that tip from watching Bar Rescue is to pour from the neck, like using the neck, instead of pouring from holding the bottom of the bottle. I honestly think I learned that watching Bar Rescue. I was like watching that with Pincalo back in our old apartment, and we were watching Bar Rescue on Spike. Good old Spike. And I'm pretty sure that one of the tips that they were teaching one of the bartenders was to pour holding the bottle's neck instead of the bottom of the main part of the bottle. And I've always been able to control how much alcohol comes out that way better, even with a almost full bottle. How dare you be careful pouring, you monster. Alright. What's next? I know I have some more stuff here. Here we go. Ah, yes, this article that I found here is interesting. So, the Ontario liquor inspectors are being sued by I think it's one bar or maybe a couple of bars. So the agency basically in charge of allowing liquor licenses for bars and that keep the inspection process going, upkeep, keep making sure that you still deserve to have your license. That agency apparently is being sued because the charge is that they are using their authority to settle personal scores with bar owners. So this is going to be interesting. Let's take a look here. All right. Let's take a look at this screen here. Yeah, so it is one bar that's doing this. And this is from CTV. Ontario Liquor Inspector used public safety risk sanctions as payback against operator, says lawsuit. That's a pretty hefty claim. And remember, in tort law, it is that you need to prove whether it is more likely than not that a thing happened. It's different than criminal law. In criminal law, you need to, and this I learned in my law classes even back in high school. In criminal law, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. In tort law, you have to prove it's more likely than not that something happened. So the burden of proof is a lot less arduous than in a criminal case. But you still have to prove your claim. So let's see here. Where are we here? So this was last updated on the 26th of December. Yeah, December 26th of December. So we'll take a look here. Let's get past the sharing buttons. All right, come on. Here we go. Okay. For the second time in a year, the agency that runs the province's liquor inspection system is being sued by an Ontario bar, alleging inspectors are using a loophole in the law to settle personal scores. That is not okay. Nobody in any position of authority should be allowed to do that. Whether they be a liquor inspector, a police officer, a lawyer, it's no. Absolutely should not be happening. Okay. The new lawsuit by the company behind the Fox and the Fiddle in North Bay says the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, AGCO, inspectors deemed the bar a public safety risk as payback for a tense interaction with its operator, Nathan Todd's, a mechanism that stripped Todd's of his livelihood with no appeal. Oh shit. So he couldn't even appeal the issue. The Fox and the Fiddle? Yeah, it's let's see. Quote, this is consistent with the assertion that the ban on Mr. Taz has more to do with the retribution than protecting public safety, Taz's lawsuit reads. Taz says he wants to make sure there is an appeal mechanism for all license conditions, not just some. Yeah. You know, like, there should always be an appeal process. Like, even first degree murderers get to appeal their convictions, right? So why no appeal process for liquor license removal? You know, like, that seems a little bit disjointed to me. Quote, we don't think the punishment fits the crime, he said. Quote, there should be a tribunal, a hearing, some kind of arbitration. And in this case, there's none of that. We want to change that from the inside out. Well, sometimes that's what lawsuits do. You know, sometimes lawsuits are not just to recoup damages. Sometimes lawsuits are precedent setting. And I think that this could be something that could help. Lord Famine says, those inspectors are douchebags. And more than a few of them are crooked as hell. Yep. I would not be surprised. Like health inspectors, liquor and gaming inspectors. You know. It's the lawsuit says that during Taz's 20-year history of operating the restaurants in Ottawa, Toronto, and North Bay, he had been reprimanded 3 times. During an inspection at the Fox and Fiddle in October 2020, Taz told a liquor inspector, quote, Don't mess with my livelihood, and I won't mess with yours, the lawsuit says. Taz told CTV News Toronto he apologized for the interaction almost immediately, saying COVID-19 measures that had hurt his bar's bottom line had been wearing on him. You know what? I buy that. It's been wearing on everybody. These restrictions are getting, like, they were crazy in October 2020, and now it's... Quote, I was emphatically apologetic, Taz said. Quote, with all the things going on in the world, I was frustrated, and I felt like I was being targeted a little bit. Yeah. But he claims the remark set off a chain of events that had him prohibited from operating the bar and banned him from the premise. They banned him from his own bar? They banned him from his own bar. Jesus Christ. That is... Holy shit. How is that even possible? Like, holy... Wow. Then Taz faced other allegation of drinking at the bar and not wearing a mask. The lawsuit says he denied those, but found himself banned from other businesses too, including Canada's retailer Real Boss Incorporated, even though he said he had no connection to them. How much power do these assholes carry? That's insane. How can they even, how can they do this? I don't understand how they have the power to do this. Quote, how the alleged concerns for proper safety resulting from Mr. Taz's involvement in the Fox and Fiddle apply to the establishment operated by Real Boss Incorporated remain unclear, the lawsuit says. Taz is not the only bar operator that has gone down this path. Okay. Anthony Green of Castro's Lounge in Toronto sued earlier this year after he was banned. Wow. He compared a liquor inspector to Aunt Lydia from the TV show The Handmaid's Tale. In that case, Green was arrested by officers who later themselves faced discipline for failing to properly investigate. Green sued, and the case was settled out of court. I bet it was. I'll just bet it was. Oh, man. Damn the brown shirts of Canada. Yep. Unless they pulled some shady shit like telling the business owners that they'd have issues with their permits, unless they'd filed trespassing charges against him. I could see that. I could totally see that happening. Both bars had argued that if the AGCO had punished them for an infraction of the rules, they would be able to make their case to the license appeal tribunal. But in both cases, the inspectors went a different way, alleging the bar operators posed a public safety risk. And for that, there is no appeal. Oh. Okay, so because the inspectors say that they pose a public safety risk, there's no appeal because of the public safety aspect. Oh, those shady motherfuckers. That's not fair. Like, that is Shouting at clouds. Hello. Let's see. That lack of oversight could mean inspectors aren't held to a higher standard in their day-to-day operations, said J. Masters. J. Master Causes from Reuters. Quote, you may be more inclined to make decisions that might not stand up to scrutiny. Premised on the notion that there is no scrutiny available, he said. Yeah. You think? The AGCO said it doesn't keep figures on how many times it deems a bar a public safety risk. That's a problem that occurs of finding of Ontario's Auditor General and a 2020 value for money audit of the agency. So even the Ontario government is like, even the government's like, yeah, you need to be telling us how many times you're deeming people a public safety risk and why. That's very shady. Quote, compliance officials, Bonnie Lissick wrote, quote, do not use a consistent approach to their selection and do not document their rationale. That's a problem. However, an AGCO, I apologize, spokesperson told CTV News Toronto in a statement that it, quote, does not hesitate to use a series of tools available to it in order to promote compliance and protect public interest and public safety. Keyword there being compliance. They are simply trying to stop financial growth and create a depression. Well, they're doing a good job. The AGCO said it would be filing a response to the lawsuit. Well, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do when you're sued. In the lawsuit, Taj requests the decision leading him to be banned from the Fox and Fiddle be reversed, and in the alternative, that a law that keeps a tribunal from removing conditions on a license be deemed unconstitutional. I could get behind a law like that. I think that, like I said, if they allow first-degree murderers to appeal their convictions, we should be allowing bar owners to appeal loss of license. You know what I mean? It's just, let's have some consistency here. Let's keep the discrepancies, few and far between, shall we? All right, let's get to our last article of the evening. And this is from Life Science. LifeScience.com. And we're going to read about mountains. Because why not? If you know the Blind Press channel, we always like to talk about science here. Whether it be astronomy, biology, geology, virology, pharmacology. Rules for thee, but not for me. Exactly, shouting at clouds. Exactly. Exactly. Rules for thee, but not for me. Okay. To the share button. Off we go. All right. Oh, excuse me. Share. Here we go. Chrome tab. There we are. So here we go for our last article of the day. We are going to read about mountains and the how to determine what is really the tallest mountain. I thought this would be a little bit of an interesting thing to end the stream. Is Mount Everest really the tallest mountain on Earth? So this is, of course, as I said, a Life Sciences article. And it says it depends on how you measure height. So let's take a look here. And of course, we're heading this with a picture of Mount Everest. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the Himalayas. But are there other mountains on Earth that have greater heights? It's no secret that Mount Everest is the jewel in the palm, or is the jewel in Nepal's Himalayan crown. It's the world's premier mountain. It's one of those thoughts embedded in childhood, like knowing that Neil Armstrong was the first person to walk on the moon, or that blue whales are the largest animals ever to have lived. You may be surprised to hear then that other peaks could conceivably be considered Earth's tallest. It just depends on how you measure them. Okay. I only believe in flat mountains. Well done, shouting at clouds. All right. So, judging by different parameters, including tallest by altitude, tallest from base to top, and tallest based on being the farthest point from from Earth's center, what is the tallest mountain in the world? Okay. Those are different. Those are, obviously important parameters to talk about. So let's take a look here. Come on here. Let's stop that. Okay. Sorry about that. They've put a video ad right in the middle of this article. So I had to move past it. Mount Everest, located deep in the Mahalangur Halmo subrange of the Himalayas, is undoubtedly the most famous and alluring of all our planet's mountains. Also known as Chonorama, meaning, quote, goddess mother of the world in Tibetan, Everest was first scaled on May 29th, 1953 by Tenzing Norgay, a Sherpa of Nepal, and New Zealander Edmund Hillary, and has since been successfully climbed by around 4,000 people. The mountain has also claimed the lives of over 300 since records started being kept in 1922. According to The Guardian, researchers have measured Mount Everest many times over the past few decades, but the latest assessment, announced in November 2021, puts it at 29,031. 29,000. This 29,031,069. That's not the right way to put that number. 29,031.69 feet. Or 886 meters above sea level, which is almost 5.5 miles. Good Lord, or 8.8 kilometers tall. It's a pretty impressive height, but it does raise a question. Why do we use above sea level when determining the world's tallest peak? I've actually always asked that question. Because sea level is different at different parts of the planet. So why do we always measure from sea level? That has never made sense to me. Okay. Quote, in order to have comparability in measurements, it is necessary to have a consistent baseline, Martin Price, a professor and founding director of the Center for Mountain Studies at the University of Highlands and Islands in Scotland, told Live Science. Quote, historically, and even now, elevation is usually given as height above mean sea level, Price told Life Science in an email. Quote, however, this has to be with reference to a standard mean sea level, which has to be defined. Sea levels are different in different parts of the world, and they're changing due to climate change. As a result, quote, elevation is now measured in relation to the mathematically defined geoid of the Earth, he said. Interesting. The geoid is according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, a model of global mean sea level that is used to measure precise surface elevation. This average is used to ascertain the height of mountains, a process that sometimes requires an airplane to fly back and forth over a mountain in a series of parallel lines to measure how the gravity pulls down on its peak, according to the GIM International. This is actually really cool. This geologic study, this is fascinating. These measurements, in conjunction with GPS readings, provide incredibly accurate elevation readings. So here we've got a picture of the observatory on Mauna Kea. So all mountains are measured from sea level, predominantly for convenience and consistency. But what if measurements were simply taken from base to peak? Would Everest still top the charts? The answer is a mountainous no. That honor would go to Mauna Kea, an active volcano in Hawaii. Although its peak is 13,802 feet, or 4,205 meters above sea level, which is less than half the height of Everest, according to National Geographic. The majority of Mauna Kea is hidden below sea level. When measured from base to peak, Mauna Kea is 33,497 feet, or 10,211 meters tall, according to the United States Geological Survey, which puts it heads and shoulders above Mount Everest. Yeah. Should we therefore regard Mauna Kea as the tallest mountain on Earth? It all depends on the perspective you take, Price said. Quote, if there were no oceans on our planet, there would be no debate. You could draw comparisons to the heights or the highest mountains on other bodies in the solar system, which have no oceans. That's true. Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador sits very close to the equator. So we have, meanwhile, another contender, Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador, or Chimborazo, which boasts a peak that is the farthest point from Earth's center. Interesting. Okay. Chimborazo isn't the tallest mountain in the Andes. It's not even in the top 30. But its proximity to the equator is what makes all the difference. Earth is not a perfect sphere. Technically, it's an oblate spheroid, and it bulges, allowing the equator, it bulges along the equator. This is a result of the force created by Earth's rotation. As a result, it means there is a difference of 13.29 miles, or 21.39 kilometers between the planet's polar radius, 3,949.90 miles, or 6,356.75 kilometers, and its equatorial radius, which is 63.19 miles, or 6,378.14 kilometers, according to the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. Chimborazo is just 1 degree south of the equator, where the Earth's bulge is most prominent. This geographical quirk means Chimborazo's summit is 3,900 miles from Earth's core, making it 6,790 feet to 2.072 meters farther from the planet's center than the peak of Everest. That's a stretch. That one, no. I'll give them Mauna Kea, but no. Life, yeah. But if we had no ocean, we wouldn't have life. Yep. We also have no life on those planets. Exactly. That's a fantastic picture of the volcanic mountain. Oh, I would love to go visit Mauna Kea at some point. That would be really cool. I think it would be really a very cool thing. So which of these three contenders for tallest mountain should take home first prize? I would say Mauna Kea. If we're going to take all those parameters into consideration, I would say Mauna Kea is probably the tallest mountain if we go from base to peak. I think it's a stretch to do that whole farther, like from the center of the planet thing. I think that's a bit too much of a stretch. But I would definitely put Mauna Kea as the tallest if we go from base to peak. That's what I say. Well, my friends, it has been another coffee stream, even though it's at night. And I do thank you all for joining me. I hope you had a great time. I sure did. It's always fun putting these on for you. And please remember to set your reminders for the premiere of episode 15 of Coffee Shots. That's happening tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm not sure when I will be doing the next Twitch stream for Beat the Blind Girl. It is Wednesdays with Skep this coming Wednesday evening. So I will be wanting to pop on Minions tomorrow night. And of course, so join Skep and I on Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. Again, thank you all for watching. You all rock. Have a great night. You rock. And again, I hope you guys have a good time. Thank you. See you Wednesday.